David Stokes, Show Me Policy Analyst. Good morning, David Stokes.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, David.
Hey, tell me about this showmedata.org website.
McGraw, I'm glad you asked.
Thanks.
You're apparently researching some tax data over the weekend and came across it.
Yes, I was. I was like, where can I find tax data? Showmedata.org.
Well, the Show Me Institute has recently put out there, we launched it about a week ago, a new revised website, which is just a wide collection of state-by-state tax and expenditure data. It goes back 30, 35 years in most cases, and it's showmedata.org, and it's out there for any of your listeners to do help for research or activism or whatever they wanted. It's just there for people to use.
Showmedata.org. Now,
Showmedata.org.
I was minding my own business this weekend, reading our hometown newspaper, and I come across the editorial page, and you have an op-ed piece.
I did. It ran last week. It's on the South County Connector, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. I co-wrote it with a new colleague, Joe Miller. So he did a lot of work, so I got to put his name out there.
What was the argument?
Well, the argument is that the South County Connector is sort of a nice opportunity for St. Louis County and the Department of Highways and Traffic to expand mobility in the region and better connect Clayton and South County, which I think deserves a better connection, but also to do it in a way that taxpayers don't have to subsidize it. This is a perfect opportunity for a hot lane, which is a high occupancy toll lane, meaning if you're commuting in a carpool from South County to Clayton, you can use it. You could use the new road for free, but I think if you're riding as a solo driver, you should pay a small toll, especially during the rush hours.
First of all, can you tell me exactly, because I was trying to figure out where this connector would be. What area are we talking about?
Well, the Post-Dispatch story links to a map, and anybody can go online and go to the county website and find the details on it. But it roughly goes from sort of where Hanley and Laclede Station meet there in Maplewood, south and east along sort of the Marshall Road route, Shrewsbury Road, just sort of that area, and then hooks into River de Pere. So it does actually end up in, the proposal has it ending up in St. Louis City and then tying into River de Pere, which I think would be great.
Now, we should say that this South County proposal is out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And your op-ed was, how should we pay for it? Here's a way that we could pay for it.
Absolutely. We're not getting into the debates over the engineering of it. I mean, That's not our area.
Right. And it's interesting because if I hear you correctly, a high occupancy lane would be free. An individual car you would have to pay. It sounds almost like you're an environmentalist. What's going on there?
Well, hot lanes have worked in a lot of other cities. There have been particularly some successful ones in California. And this proposal, if you've ever driven in a high-occupancy vehicle lane, and those are all over the country, you probably note that most of the time they're sort of empty.
Right.
So the high-occupancy toll lane is a sort of a change to that plan, saying, look, let's try and fill the lane up to capacity, not to congestion, but at least to capacity, by allowing solo drivers to pay a small toll. And that benefits everybody because that clears up the rest of the lanes for people to have less traffic there.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you... Obviously, the obvious criticism of that is, what if you don't have anyone else to ride with and you have to take that single lane and then you're forced to pay a toll?
Right. That's right.
I know.
That's great.
I know. I'm stating the obvious here.
Yes, you would have to pay that toll.
Well, what you'd be able to do is you'd be able to take the old route. I mean, you'd be able to take the now more
Not
congested
the new
route.
one.
And look, this St. Louis isn't Chicago. I mean, the traffic's not a nightmare, but it does take a little longer than it should to get from South County to Mid-County to Clayton, and you could just take that old route. And the new road, this new connector, if they do it this way, I don't envision a large toll here. This is not something, $6 one way. I would envision a pretty minor toll, largely charged probably just during rush hour, and people are going to be willing to pay $1 or $2 to save 5-6 minutes off their time. And it might take some trial and error to get the toll level right.
Is there anywhere that has a high occupancy free lane and a toll lane on the same road?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
The hot lane concept, which they have in California and elsewhere, is that. It has to be sort of a limited access road, or else it sort of bogs down and falls apart. But it's just a road where you get on. If you got 2 or 3 adults in the car, you're free.
Yeah.
And if you're single, you get the transponder and you pay a couple bucks.
You, though, have a bias towards toll roads. You like toll roads to pay for all the roads or many of the roads.
I do. I think Missouri absolutely needs to make greater use of tolling as we invest in infrastructure. And that should be combined with higher gas taxes. Anything but a general sales tax to pay for all the highways and bridges in the state, which is what they want to do next year, which is a poor idea.
Why does a toll road, in your idea, why is that a better way to fund roads?
Toll roads are a better way to fund roads because they are the ultimate way in which the people who use the road pay for it. I mean, and gas taxes do a good job at that too. Don't get me wrong. You're never going to hear David Stokes launch a diatribe against gas taxes. I just think that if we're going to invest further in our infrastructure, and not even all that is expansion capacity, but sometimes it's just redoing I-70 and I-44. The best way to fund that is through a combination of higher gas taxes and the inclusion of tolling when the tolling system works. And I think tolling would work for something like the South County Connector in that you have alternative options. You can stay on the more congested local roads and not have to pay the toll if you don't want to. But if you want to knock a few minutes off your travel time, and I think enough people will, you can pay this toll and you can help fund this new road without relying on general taxes and gas taxes to do it.
Even if somebody never rides on a toll road, are they still not benefiting from that road being built?
They do benefit because from the people who do choose to ride on that toll road, that will clear up congestion and space on the other roads. So yes, you benefit by other people picking that toll, and that's one of the reasons you have to be careful.
So why not do a straight gas tax? Why do a toll road on top of a gas tax? It seems like a gas tax is much more, and you like to spread the tax base out. And if everybody's in it and everyone benefits from a new road being built, then everybody should have a little skin in the game. So why do the toll road on top of the gas tax?
The toll road works for funding projects much more quickly than gas taxes do. If you're going to do something as a toll road, you can get out, put the bonds backed by the toll, get the private markets involved, and do this very quickly. Gas taxes generally have to go through a very long state and federal process to see what gets funded for it. So if you want to invest in infrastructure and you want to do it quickly, then toll roads provide a funding mechanism that allow you to do that.
Who makes the decision to do the tolling, though? Would that be left up to voters to do the toll?
Not generally. This decision would primarily come to the St. Louis County and the Department of Highways and Traffic, and then the county executive and county council. And since it does end up, according to the plan, in St. Louis City, there'd be some involvement from the city as well.
What about the actual taking of the toll money? I know they have those smart passes, and there are some people who are very smart. But we also know that when you're waiting behind somebody at a cash machine, they sort of forget how to run a cash machine. So what about congestion as to going through the toll road? You need cash, you need a coin, you need a token, you have an easy pass. Wouldn't that be a disaster?
Well, you're remembering back to your days growing up on the East Coast with long toll lines at the toll plazas.
Yes.
And that's a very fair point. But nobody is building new toll roads now with that type of collection technology. It's all automated. And to the point where if you don't have the easy pass, it generally gets a bill to the license plate on the car. And there may be
But I'm not driving the car. Why don't you just send that off with my red light ticket?
Well, except that a toll road would be an enforceable collection.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
And then you should say to the person you lend your car to, and if you drive any tolls, you owe me a couple bucks.
Here's how broke I was when I was in college. We were playing summer ball, and we'd play in New Jersey, right? So we'd have to go through like 8 different tolls to get from Long Island to New Jersey. And so they would give you gas money and then toll money. So I would go to the cash to the direct deposit basket, and I would drive up there and I would fake throw money in there, right? And then I'd wait and the gate wouldn't go up, and I would wait another second, and then I'd honk the horn and be like, "What's the deal? I threw the money in," and like somebody 2 doors down would be like, "Well, all right," and hit the button, the gate would go up, and I would drive through. So I was scamming the $2 through the toll road.
Well,
but
hopefully the designers would take that into consideration.
But I mean, $2 for me in 1988 was $1 million. I mean, that was another sack of chewless tobacco or something, which was vital in those days. All right, David Stokes, where can we read you? Where can we see you?
Well, you can visit. You can see a lot of great information on taxes and everything at showmedata.org, and I appreciate the opportunity to bring that up earlier, McGraw. But you can see this op-ed at the stltoday.com website or at our website, showmeinstitute.org.
Do you get paid how many times you say showmedata.org?
I do not.
I was just curious. All right.
I'll ask that in my review.
All right, there you go. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, McGraw. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks.
8:50. We're going to talk a little Mizzou football. We'll do that next year on the Big 550 KT.